In the previous video, I showed you the difference between simple interest rate and compound interest rate. And we constructed this important formula. I tell you, this is the most important formula in finance. Many of the formulas that you will see in the future topics, they are derived from this formula. So I suggest you memorize this formula, but actually it's very easy to understand the formula. So actually no need to memorize it. You can easily understand and remember it when you need it. So this is future value, means you can compute the value of any cash flow today, the value of this any cash flow today in the future. It means what will be the value of $1 today, next year, or 2 years later, or n years later. And as you can see, there are 4 parameters here. Future value means the value of cash flows in the future time. So in this example, as you can see in this in the general form, as you can see, I want to compute the future value of an investment or a cash flow today. So today I have PV. So PV means the value of a cash flow or an investment today. So PV means present value. PV means present value of a cash flow. And FV means the future value of the cash flow or investment. So if you invest today $100, you want to know what's the value of this $100 5 years later or n years later. So you can compute it. Or sometimes you expect to receive, for example, $100 5 years later. You want to know what's the value of this $100 that you will receive, you expect to receive 5 years later today. Then we have R. What is R? R is interest rate. Sometimes we write I, sometimes we write R, so up to you. Interest rate, but interest rate per what? Per period. This is very important. Sometimes the period is year, sometimes the period is 6 months, sometimes the period is 3 months, sometimes it's a day. So the first thing you need to do is to identify the period. In most cases, yeah, I understand in most examples that you will see, we assume that period is year. So interest rate per year will be inserted in the formula. But there are some cases that period is not year. You will see these examples later. So this is very important. Keep this in mind that R or I or whatever you put it here is interest rate per period, not per year. It's per period. And then N. What is N? Or in some textbooks they write T, or whatever you are interested, you can put it here, but there should be something here as the power. So what is N? N is number of what? Number of year? No. Number of periods. Periods. So again, sometimes period is not year, but again, I understand in many cases, in many examples that I will give you, we assume period is year. But sometimes period can be month, 3 months, maybe 1 day, maybe 1 hour, so it depends. So this is the most important formula, and we will use it a lot. We will use it a lot. So you may even tattoo it on your skin, because you will be using this formula even in future topics, even when later you want to invest. For many important financial decision making, you will be using this formula. So this is very important.